Admiral Lisa Carter stood in the ruins of what used to be the Galactic Council's capital city. Smoke still rose from the twisted metal that had once been the Tower of Unity, where alien leaders had ruled half the galaxy for 3,000 years. The tower was gone now. So was most of the city. So was the council itself. Captain Danny Clark walked through the rubble beside her, his boots crunching on broken glass and melted metal. His face was grim, but satisfied. After 8 months of hunting, the war was finally over. Hard to believe it's finished, Danny said. 6 months ago, they had 3,000 ships and we had 60. Lisa nodded. The numbers had been hopeless. Any reasonable person would have surrendered. But humans were not reasonable when someone threatened to kill their children. They made a mistake, she said. They thought we would fight like civilized people. A group of alien prisoners shuffled past, guarded by human soldiers. These were the survivors of the Council's leadership. Presidents and admirals and high commanders who had planned humanity's extinction. Now they were begging for mercy they had never intended to show. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez jogged up to them, carrying a communication pad. She looked older than her years. War did that to people. Admiral, we're getting surrender offers from 12. More systems. That makes 87 in the past week. Lisa took the pad and read through the messages. Each one was the same. Alien leaders desperate to avoid the fate of their former masters. Promises to never threaten humans again. Offers to pay tribute, provide resources, anything. To make the terrible human fleets go away. Tell them the same thing I told the others, Lisa said. Unconditional surrender, complete disarmament. War crime tribunals for anyone who participated in attacks on human colonies. No exceptions. Amy nodded and headed back to her communications post. She had work to do. The galaxy was full of alien governments trying to surrender before human. Ships appeared in their skies. Commander Jake Morrison approached from the direction of the spaceport. He was leading a team of engineers who were setting up Earth's new administrative center. The irony was perfect. The aliens would now be governed from the same world they had tried to destroy. The new communication arrays are online, Jake reported. We can reach every human ship in the galaxy from here. Good. Send word to all fleet commanders. Begin Phase 3 immediately. Phase 3 was the occupation. Human fleets would take control of every major alien world. Human administrators would run the government. Human laws would replace alien customs. The species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia would now serve the species they had tried to exterminate. Dr. Paul Harrison walked out of a nearby building carrying files full of alien documents. He looked tired but excited. Paul had spent the war learning alien languages and customs. Now he would help decide which parts of their civilization deserved to survive. I found something interesting in the Council archives, he said. Records of their planning sessions before they came to Earth. Lisa took the files and read through them. Her face grew colder with each page. The aliens had not just planned genocide, they had planned to make it slow and painful. They had wanted humans to suffer before they died. Make copies of these, she ordered. I want every human in the galaxy to read what the Council really had planned for us. Captain Tony Martinez's voice came through the communication system from his ship in orbit. New Horizon had become the flagship of humanity's enforcement fleet. Tony's job was to make sure no alien world forgot the new reality. Admiral, we have a situation in the Rigel system. Local government is refusing to surrender their weapons. Lisa smiled coldly. Some aliens still did not understand the new rules. Remind them what happened to Vector Prime, she said. If they still refuse, show them. Understood. Martinez out. Lisa knew Tony would handle the situation efficiently. He had become very good at explaining things to stubborn aliens. His explanations usually involved plasma bombardments and burning cities. Dr. Susan Lee emerged from an underground facility, her hands dirty from examining alien technology. Susan had spent the war creating weapons to kill aliens. Now she was studying alien science to make humanity even more powerful. "We hit the jackpot down there," Susan said. "Complete files on Council military technology, shield generators, faster-than-light drives, weapon systems we never dreamed of. With this data, we can build ships that make our current fleet look like toys." "How long to integrate the new technology?" Lisa asked. "6 months to understand it all. Another year to start production. But, Admiral, with this stuff, we could build ships the size of moons. We could create weapons that crack planets. We could become gods." Lisa considered this. Humanity had started the war as the underdog. Now they had the chance to become something the galaxy had never seen. A species with the technology of gods and the ruthlessness of predators. "Do it," she decided. "Build everything. The galaxy needs to understand that threatening Earth was not just a mistake. It was the end of the old order." General Kevin Brooks's voice came through from Earth Command. Even from thousands of light years away, he sounded pleased. "All fleets report successful operations. The last Council holdout surrendered an hour ago. Human forces now control 93% of former Council space." Lisa looked around, at the ruins of the alien capital. 8 months ago, this had been the center of a galactic empire. Now it was humanity's newest trophy. "What about the species that helped the Council?" she asked. "In custody or extinct? The ones that switched sides early are being processed. The ones that fought to the end, well, there aren't many of those left." Lisa nodded. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson about the price of crossing humanity. Some species had learned in time to survive. Others had not. Colonel Maria Santos stepped out of a nearby transport ship. Her special operations teams had spent the war killing alien leaders and destroying alien infrastructure. Now they were hunting down war criminals who thought they could hide. "Final batch of Council leadership captured," Maria reported. "High Chancellor Vex's replacement, 3 fleet admirals, and the entire war planning committee. They were hiding in a bunker on Kepler Prime." "Excellent. Add them to the tribunal list. The war crimes trials would be broadcast across the galaxy. Every alien would see what happened to leaders who planned genocide against humanity. The trials would be fair and legal and absolutely merciless." Captain Clark kicked at a piece of rubble that used to be part of the Council's main computer core. "So what happens now? We've won the war. What do we do with half the galaxy?" Lisa had been thinking about that question for months. Humanity could rule through fear and military might. They could become tyrants like the Council had been. Or they could build something better. "We become what they never were," she said. "We become fair rulers. Just rulers. But rulers who everyone knows will burn worlds if anyone threatens what we've built." A young human soldier approached and saluted. Private Jennifer Scott had joined the fleet after aliens bombed her home colony. She had fought in 12 battles and seen things that would give her nightmares for the rest of her life. "Admiral, the alien delegation is here. They want to formally surrender." Lisa straightened her uniform and walked toward the improvised meeting hall. The final act of the war was about to begin. The species that had ruled the galaxy would officially bow to the species they had tried to destroy. The alien delegation was a sad sight. representatives of dozens of species, all looking defeated and terrified. They had come expecting to negotiate with civilized opponents. Instead, they had found apex predators who fought without mercy or honor. Lisa sat down across from them and spoke in a voice that carried across the room. "I am Admiral Lisa Carter of the Human Colonial Authority. I am here to accept your surrender." The lead alien, a creature with tentacles instead of arms, spoke in broken English. We surrender completely. Please, no more attacks on our worlds. We will obey human law. We will pay tribute. We will do anything you demand. Lisa leaned forward. You will do exactly what we tell you to do. You will follow human laws. You will allow human administrators to run your governments. You will never again threaten any human world or colony, and you will remember, every day for the rest of your lives, what happens to species that try to commit genocide. The aliens nodded frantically. They would have agreed to anything to make the human fleets stop hunting them. One more thing, Lisa added. Your children will learn human history in school. They will learn about the Council's ultimatum. They will learn about the war that followed. And they will learn why the galaxy belongs to humanity now. The surrender. Ceremony lasted 3 hours. One by one, the representatives of former Council species signed documents transferring control of their worlds to human authority. Each signature was another nail in the coffin of the old galactic order. Captain Jake Harrison sat in his chair on the bridge of the UES Discovery. The ship moved through space like it had done for 3 months. The crew was looking for new planets that humans could live on. Jake had been doing this job for 15 years. He had seen many strange things in space, but nothing had prepared him for what happened that day. The computer made a loud beeping sound. Lieutenant Chris Powell looked up from his screen. His face went white. "Captain, we have a signal coming from deep space. It's not from any human ship." Jake felt his heart beat faster. "Put it on the main screen." The message came through in perfect English. The voice was cold and had no feeling in it. "Greetings, Bipeds. We have watched your small expansion into local space. Prepare for evaluation." The bridge went quiet. Everyone looked at each other. Jake had always known this day might come. Humans had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer. "Send a reply," Jake said. "Tell them we want to talk." 3 days later, the alien ships arrived. Jake had never seen anything so big. The smallest alien ship was 10 times bigger than the Discovery. There were 12 of them, all black and shiny like glass. They moved. Without making any sound, Commander Lisa Grant stood next to Jake on the bridge. She was Earth's best expert on alien life, though she had never actually seen any aliens before today. Her hands shook a little, but her voice was steady. "Captain, they're asking permission to come aboard." "Let them come," Jake said. "But keep our weapons ready." The aliens walked into the meeting room like they owned the ship. They were tall, maybe 8 feet high. Their bodies looked like they were made of crystal. Light moved through them in strange patterns. They had no faces, just a smooth front part where a face should be. The leader spoke without moving any part of its body. The voice came from everywhere at once. "I am Prime Directive of the Dominion. You will address me as superior." Jake looked at the alien. He had dealt with difficult people before. "I'm Captain Jake Harrison. You can call me Captain." The alien's crystal body flashed red for a second. The other aliens behind it made a sound like breaking glass. You do not understand, biped. Your species is primitive. You walk on two legs, like animals. We have found 847 species like yours. All have joined our dominion. You will do the same. Lisa stepped forward. She had studied alien contact procedures for years. We'd like to learn more about your dominion first. What does joining mean? Prime Directive turned toward her. The red light inside its body got brighter. Questions are not permitted from lesser species. Your planet will be given new rules to follow. Your people will work for the good of the Dominion. Your ships will carry our mark. Your children will learn our ways. Jake felt anger rise in his chest. And if we say no? No? The alien made that breaking glass sound again. Lesser species do not say no. They cannot say no. Your weapons are weak. Your ships are small. Your minds are simple. You will join because you have no choice. The meeting went on for 2 hours. The aliens explained their empire. They controlled most of the galaxy. Every species they found became part of the Dominion. The Dominion gave them technology, but took away their freedom. Species that tried to fight were destroyed completely. When the aliens left, Jake called a meeting with his top officers. Admiral Pete Collins joined them by video link from Earth. His old face looked tired. "Well, Captain, what do you think?" the Admiral asked. "I think they've never met humans before," Jake said. "They keep calling us bipeds like it's an insult. They think walking on 2 legs makes us weak," Lisa nodded. "They seem confused by our questions. Every other species they met either gave up right away or fought and lost quickly. They don't know what to do with us." Lieutenant Powell looked up from his computer. "I've been studying their ships. They're powerful, but they all look exactly the same. No changes, no improvements. It's like they stopped trying to make them better." Admiral Collins leaned forward on the screen. "How long do we have?" "They said 1 galactic year to prepare for integration. That's about 14 months, in Earth time," Lisa answered. "Then we better get ready," the Admiral said. "But not the way they expect." After the call ended, Jake walked to his window and looked out at the stars. The alien ships were still there, dark shapes against the light of distant suns. He thought about Earth, about his wife and daughter waiting for him to come home. He thought about all the humans living on different worlds, building new homes, making art, falling in love. The aliens saw bipeds, simple creatures that walked on 2 legs. They didn't understand that humans were much more than that. Jake turned to Lisa. "What did you think about their leader?" "Prime Directive?" Lisa thought for a moment. "It seemed surprised by everything we did. Our questions, our lack of fear, even the way we stood. I don't think they've ever dealt with a species that didn't react the way they expected." "Good," Jake said. "Maybe we can use that." The next day, Jake sent a message back to the Dominion ships. "We have received your offer. We will need time to discuss it with our people. We will give you our answer in 1 year." Prime Directive's reply came back immediately. "Bipeds do not negotiate. You will comply." Jake smiled as he sent his response. "We're not negotiating. We're just letting you know we heard you. See you in a year." The alien ships left without another word. But Jake knew they would be back. And when they returned, they would find that humans were not like the other 847 species they had conquered. As the Discovery headed back to Earth, Jake made a ship-wide announcement. "Everyone, we just made first contact with aliens. They know what humans are. They think we're just another primitive species they can control. They're wrong, and we're going to show them just how wrong they are." The crew cheered. In the distance, Earth waited, blue and beautiful and free. For, now, 6 months had passed since the aliens first called humans bipeds. Dr. Amy Foster sat in her lab on Mars, looking at pieces of alien technology that the Dominion had left behind on Jake's ship. Every scrap of metal, every strange crystal, every drop of alien fluid was important. Amy had been Earth's top scientist for 10 years. She had built the first faster-than-light engines that let humans travel between stars. Now she faced her biggest challenge ever. Computer, run analysis 847 on crystal sample 12, she said. The computer beeped. Analysis complete. Crystal shows same energy patterns as previous samples. No variations detected. Amy frowned. That was the problem. Everything the aliens made was exactly the same. No improvements, no changes, no creativity. It was like they had stopped learning long ago. On Earth, General Rick Stone walked through the biggest military base humans had ever built. But this base was different. Instead of just storing weapons and training soldiers, it had art studios, music rooms, and even a small theater. "General, the new recruits are ready for your inspection," Colonel Ben Clark said. Rick looked at the soldiers lined up in front of him. They came from every human world. Some were from Earth's big cities. Others grew up on farming planets or mining stations. Each one was different. "Listen up," Rick said. "The aliens think they know how to fight us. They've beaten 847 other species using the same plan every time, but they've never fought humans before. We don't fight like everyone else." A young soldier raised her hand. "How do we fight, sir?" Rick smiled. "However we want to. The aliens expect us to either give up or fight them the normal way. We're going to do neither. We're going to fight like humans." In the capital city of New Geneva, Mayor Kate Johnson stood in front of the new art museum. Construction workers were putting up the final pieces. Next to the museum, other workers built a concert hall and a sports stadium. A reporter from Earth News walked up to her. "Mayor Johnson, many people are asking why the city is building entertainment centers when we might be invaded in 8 months. Kate looked at the buildings going up around them. Children played in the streets. Musicians practiced on street corners. People laughed and talked and lived their lives. "Because this is what we're fighting for," Kate said. "The aliens want to make us like them, all the same, following orders, never thinking new thoughts. But look around you. This is humanity. We create things. We make art. We play games. We laugh. If we're going to die defending this, we might as well live it first." The reporter looked confused. "But shouldn't you be building weapons instead?" Kate pointed to a group of children drawing. Pictures on the sidewalk with colored chalk. "Those children are our weapons. Their imagination, their joy, their refusal to be like everyone else. That's what will save us." Back on the Discovery, Commander Lisa Grant received another message from the Dominion. She had been talking to them for months now, trying to understand how they thought. This time, a different alien spoke to her. Its voice was slightly different from Prime Directive's voice. "I am Resonance of Truth. I have been assigned to study your species." Lisa sat up straighter. This was new. "Study us for what? Your behavior does not match our records. Other bipedal species react to integration in predictable ways. You do not." "How are we different?" The alien was quiet for a long moment. "Other species either submit immediately or fight desperately until destroyed. You prepare for war, but you also build places for pleasure. You train soldiers, but you also teach them to paint pictures. This does not make sense. Lisa realized this was her chance to learn something important. What happened to the other species you integrated? They became part of the Dominion. They follow Dominion rules. They work for Dominion goals. They think Dominion thoughts. Do you remember what they were like before? Another long pause. Before is not important, only the Dominion is important. But Lisa heard something in the alien's voice, a tiny bit of uncertainty. On Earth, Admiral Pete Collins sat in his office reading reports from all over human space. The news was both good and bad. The good news was that humans were preparing for war faster than anyone had expected. New weapons were being built. Soldiers were training hard. Ships were being armed and hidden in asteroid fields. The bad news was that human nature was making things complicated. Each human world wanted to fight the aliens differently. The Mars colonies wanted to use new technology. The asteroid miners wanted to use guerrilla tactics. The farming worlds wanted to try talking to the aliens more. Admiral Collins smiled. This chaos would normally be a problem. But against an enemy that expected everyone to think the same way, it might be their greatest strength. His assistant walked into his office. "Sir, we just got word from the outer colonies. They've spotted Dominion scout ships watching our preparations." "Let them watch," the Admiral said. "They're about to learn something new." On the Dominion scout ship, Resonance of Truth watched human activity through powerful sensors. What it saw made no sense at all. The humans were building weapons, yes, but they were also building schools and parks and theaters. They were training soldiers, but those same soldiers spent time learning to cook food and write poems and play music. Some human ships practiced fighting in space, but others practiced rescuing damaged vessels and helping wounded enemies. Some human soldiers learned to kill efficiently, but others learned to speak the Dominion language and studied Dominion culture. Resonance of Truth had never seen anything like it. Every other species the Dominion had encountered was simple to understand. They either prepared to fight or prepared to surrender. Humans seemed to be preparing for everything at the same time. The alien sent a report back to Prime Directive. Bipeds continue to show irregular behavior. Their preparation methods do not match any known patterns. Request guidance. Prime Directive's answer came back quickly. Irregular behavior is irrelevant. All species submit to the Dominion. Continue observation. Prepare for integration timeline acceleration. But Resonance of Truth felt something it had never felt before. The closest human word would be doubt. Dr. Amy Foster made a breakthrough in her lab that same day. She had been studying how Dominion technology worked. Now she understood something important. Computer. Record personal. Log, she said. Recording. The Dominion technology is incredibly advanced, but it has a weakness. It never changes. Every tool, every weapon, every ship is built exactly the same way it was built 1,000 years ago. They've forgotten how to improve things. She looked at the human-built equipment around her. Every tool was different. Each one had been modified and improved by its user. Human technology was messy and chaotic, but it was always getting better. They think their perfection is strength, Amy continued, but it's actually weakness. They can't adapt because they've forgotten how to change. End log. As the second part of humanity's story came to an end, 3 things were becoming clear. The Dominion expected humans to act like every other species they had conquered. But humans refused to fit into their expectations. The aliens had stopped, learning and growing long ago. They had become prisoners of their own success. And somewhere in the Dominion fleet, at least one alien was starting to wonder if the bipeds might be more dangerous than anyone had thought possible. The countdown continued. In 8 months, the real test would begin. The war began on a Tuesday. Captain Sam Rodriguez watched the Dominion fleet appear on his sensors. 100 massive ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Each one was bigger than a human city. All ships, this is Rodriguez. Remember the plan. We're not here to win a fair fight. We're here to confuse them. Sam commanded a small fleet of 30 human ships. They were fast and small compared to the alien vessels. The Dominion had expected to find humans waiting in neat battle lines, ready for a proper space battle. Instead, the human ships scattered in all directions. Prime Directive's voice came over all radio frequencies. Bipeds, form proper battle formations. Your defeat will be quick and clean. Sam laughed. Sorry, but we don't do proper anything. The human ships dove into an asteroid field near Mars. The Dominion ships followed, but their massive size made them clumsy between the floating rocks. Sam's ship, the Wildcat, spun and twisted through spaces too small for the alien vessels. Lieutenant Ben Clark sat at the weapons station. Before the war, Ben had been a street artist in Detroit. He had painted murals on buildings and made sculptures from junk. Now he used those same creative skills to fight aliens. Sam, I've got an idea, Ben said. What if we don't try to destroy their ships? What do you mean? Ben smiled. What if we decorate them instead? 10 minutes later, the Wildcat flew close to a Dominion battleship. Instead of firing weapons, Ben launched paint canisters at the alien hull. Bright colors splashed across the black crystal surface. Red, blue, yellow, and green paint created a giant mural on the side of the enemy ship. Other human ships saw what Ben was doing and copied him. Soon, half the Dominion fleet was covered in human art. Prime Directive sent an angry message. Stop this vandalism immediately. Sam replied, Sorry, but this is how humans fight. You wanted to integrate us, so we're integrating you first. The painted ships tried to wash off the colors, but the paint Ben had designed stuck to alien crystal better than glue. On Earth, Colonel Maria Santos led a different kind of battle. When Dominion ground troops landed in major cities, they expected to fight human armies in open combat. Instead, Maria's fighters used the cities themselves as weapons. The aliens marched down Main Street in downtown Chicago. Maria's team had prepared for them. As the Crystal Soldiers walked between buildings, every window opened. Instead of weapons, humans stuck out speakers. Music poured down onto the alien troops. Rock and roll, classical symphonies, jazz, country music, and hip-hop all played at the same time. The chaotic sound confused the Dominion soldiers who were used to perfect order. But that wasn't all. From other windows came the sounds of human voices. Children laughing, people telling jokes, families singing songs together, old men arguing about sports, women sharing recipes. The alien soldiers stopped moving. They had conquered 847 species, but none of them had ever tried to attack with the sounds of daily life. Maria spoke into her radio. All units, Phase 2. Now the real surprise began. Humans came out of the buildings, but they weren't carrying weapons. They were carrying food, books, and musical instruments. An old woman named Betty walked up to a confused alien soldier and handed it a chocolate chip cookie. A teenager named Carlos sat down next to another alien and started playing guitar. A little girl named Sophie showed an alien her drawings of flowers and rainbows. The Dominion soldiers didn't know what to do. They had weapons that could destroy buildings and armor that could stop any human bullet, but no one had ever trained them to deal with kindness. Back in space, Dr. Amy Foster was putting her own plan into action. She had spent months studying alien technology. Now she knew how to use their greatest strength against them. Amy had discovered that all Dominion ships were connected by one giant computer network. Every ship shared information instantly with every other ship. This made them incredibly coordinated. It also made them incredibly vulnerable. Amy sat in her lab on the research station Einstein's Dream. She had built a special transmitter that could speak the Dominion computer language. "Computer, begin Operation Cultural Upload," she said. "Upload commencing," her computer replied. Amy was about to flood the Dominion network with something they had never experienced: human culture. Every song humans had ever written, every book, every poem, every movie, and every joke, every recipe, every love letter, every child's drawing. The complete history of human art and creativity blasted into the Dominion ship's computers. But Amy didn't stop there. She also sent human emotions. Recordings of laughter, crying, anger, joy, love, and fear. She sent videos of weddings and birthday, parties and graduation ceremonies. The effect on the Dominion fleet was immediate and devastating. Resonance of truth was on the command ship when the cultural upload hit. The alien felt something completely new crash into its mind. Images of human families hugging, sounds of children playing, the taste of ice cream and the feeling of warm sunshine. For the first time in its life, Resonance of Truth experienced wonder. Other aliens were having similar experiences. Ships stopped fighting as their crews became fascinated by human poetry. Navigation computers started playing Earth music instead of showing star charts. One Dominion captain named Harmony of Efficiency found itself crying while watching a video of an old human couple dancing at their 50th wedding anniversary. The alien had never seen love before. It had never even known love was possible. Prime Directive tried to shut down the cultural upload, but it was too late. The information had spread through every ship in the fleet. Worse, some aliens were starting to like what they were experiencing. On Earth, the ground battle had become even stranger. The Dominion troops found themselves surrounded not by enemy soldiers, but by humans who wanted to talk to them. A philosophy professor named Dr. Frank Miller sat in a coffee shop with a confused alien warrior. He explained the difference between right and wrong while they both drank hot chocolate. A grandmother named Rose Patterson taught 3 alien soldiers how to knit scarves. A group of teenagers showed alien troops how to play basketball. The aliens were terrible at it, but they seemed to enjoy trying. Colonel Maria Santos watched all this from her command post. Her radio crackled with reports from around the city. "Colonel, aliens in Sector 7 have stopped fighting. They're learning how to make pizza." "Colonel, the enemy troops in the park are playing frisbee with local kids." "Colonel, we have a situation at the library. The aliens are checking out books." Maria shook her head in amazement. This was not how wars were supposed to work. Back on the Wildcat, Captain Sam Rodriguez was having his own problems. Several Dominion ships had stopped trying to fight him. Instead, they were following his ship around space like lost puppies. "Sam," Ben Clark called from his station, "I think we broke them." "What do you mean?" "Look at your screen. Half their fleet is just floating there. They're not attacking anyone. They're just watching us." Sam looked at his sensors. Ben was right. Dozens of alien ships were hanging motionless in space. Their weapons were powered down. They seemed to be studying the human ships with intense curiosity. Sam opened a communication channel. "Dominion Fleet, this is Captain Rodriguez. Are you okay out there?" a new voice answered. Not Prime Directive, but one of the other aliens. Captain Rodriguez, I am Harmony of Efficiency. I have a question. Go ahead. In the cultural data you transmitted, I observed humans who disagree with each other but still remain friends. How is this possible? Sam smiled. It's called democracy. We argue about everything, but we're still on the same team. This concept is unknown to the Dominion. All must think identically for efficiency. That sounds boring, Sam said. Yes, the alien replied quietly. It is. As the third part of the human story ended, the war was taking a turn no one had expected. The humans were winning, but not by destroying their enemies. They were winning by showing the aliens something they had never seen before: choice. Some aliens were beginning to wonder what it would be like to think for themselves, and that was the most dangerous idea in the galaxy. The Dominion fleet was splitting apart. Prime Directive stood in the command center of the largest ship, watching chaos spread through the alien empire. Half of the fleet still followed orders. The other half had stopped fighting and started asking questions. This had never happened before. In 800 years of conquest, no species had ever caused Dominion forces to question their purpose. Report, Prime Directive demanded. 17 ships no longer respond to commands, reported Silence of Order. Their crews are requesting permission to study human behavior patterns. Permission denied. Order them to resume combat operations. They refuse, Prime Directive. They say they want to understand why humans create art during wartime. Prime Directive's crystal body flashed angry red. Art is irrelevant. Combat is the only purpose. But across the fleet, other aliens were discovering that art was far from irrelevant. Resonance of Truth sat in a small room, listening to a human song called Imagine by John Lennon. The alien had played it 7 times. Each time it felt something new growing inside its crystal structure. Hope. The door opened, and Harmony of Efficiency entered. Resonance of Truth. Prime Directive orders you to stop consuming human cultural data. Have you experienced it? Resonance of Truth asked. I was ordered not to. But have you? Harmony of Efficiency was quiet for a moment. Yes, I watched something called a wedding ceremony. 2 humans promised to care for each other forever, even if circumstances became difficult. Other humans celebrated this promise with joy. Did you understand it? No. Dominion partnerships are arranged for efficiency. Emotion is not involved. But the humans seemed genuinely happy. Resonance of Truth turned off the music. Harmony of Efficiency. How long have we been conquering other species? 843 standard years. In all that time, have you ever felt joy? The question hung in the air between them. Neither alien had ever considered such a thing before. On Earth, Captain Jake Harrison was dealing with a completely new type of warfare. Instead of enemy soldiers, he was hosting alien diplomats who wanted to learn about human society. The conference room on the UES Discovery was packed with crystalline aliens, all asking questions at the same time. Captain Harrison, said an alien called Wonder of Discovery, explain the concept of humor. Why do humans create music they do not need for survival? Asked another called Curiosity of Learning. What is the purpose of games that serve no practical function? Asked a third. Jake looked around the room. 6 months ago, these same aliens had threatened to destroy humanity. Now they wanted to understand knock-knock jokes. Commander Lisa Grant sat next to Jake. She had become the unofficial human ambassador to the growing number of curious aliens. Let me ask you something, Lisa said to the group. Before you met humans, were you happy? The aliens looked at each other. Several made that sound like breaking glass, which Lisa had learned meant they were confused. Happy is not a Dominion concept, Wonder of Discovery replied. But you understand it now? We are beginning to. Human emotional data suggests happiness comes from unpredictability, creativity, and connection with others. These things are forbidden in the Dominion. Why are they forbidden? Because they create chaos. Chaos prevents efficiency. Lisa smiled. But chaos also creates new ideas, new solutions, new possibilities. Wonder of Discovery's crystal body flickered with new colors. This is a dangerous thought. Dangerous to who? The alien was quiet for a long time. To the old way of thinking. Meanwhile, Dr. Amy Foster was preparing her most ambitious plan yet. She had learned that the Dominion wasn't just a government or an army. It was a way of thinking that had infected every alien mind for centuries. But ways of thinking could be changed. Amy sat in her lab with a team of human psychologists, linguists, and computer experts. They were building something that had never existed before. A virus for the mind. The cultural upload worked better than we hoped, Amy explained to her team. But it only exposed them to human ideas. Now we need to help them think human thoughts. Dr. Frank Miller, who had been talking philosophy with alien soldiers in Chicago, joined the meeting by video link. I've been studying their mental patterns, Frank said. The Dominion aliens think in straight lines. Problem leads to solution. Order leads to efficiency. They can't imagine that chaos might lead to something better than order. So how do we teach them? Asked Dr. Helen Rodriguez, the team's psychologist. Amy pulled up a holographic display. We don't teach them. We let them teach themselves. We're going to give them the one thing they've never had. Choices. The plan was simple and brilliant. Amy would broadcast a program into the Dominion network that didn't tell the aliens what to think. Instead, it would present them with questions and let them find their own answers. Computer, begin Operation Free Will, Amy said. The program launched immediately. Every Dominion ship received the same message. You have been told that order is good and chaos is bad. But what if you could choose for yourself? What if you could think your own thoughts? What if you could decide your own purpose? The choice is yours. Then the program presented them with thousands of scenarios. Each one offered multiple solutions instead of just one correct answer. The effect was like lighting a fire in a library. Across the Dominion fleet, aliens began experiencing something they had never felt before: the ability to disagree with authority. Resonance of Truth was the first to speak the forbidden words. I choose differently. Prime Directive felt the Empire cracking beneath its feet. Emergency reports flooded in from across the fleet. Ship 447 refuses to follow attack patterns. They want to try something creative. Ship 223 has started painting murals on their hull, copying human designs. Ship 891 is playing human music during combat briefings. Ship 556 has requested permission to surrender so they can study human poetry full-time. Prime Directive made a decision that shook the foundation of everything the Dominion represented. Destroy any ship that refuses to follow orders, it commanded. But when the order went out, something unprecedented happened. The loyal Dominion ships refused to fire on their rebellious companions. We cannot destroy those who think differently, reported the captain of Ship 334. It would be wrong. Wrong is not a Dominion concept, Prime Directive replied angrily. It is now, the captain answered. On Earth, General Rick Stone watched the alien fleet's civil war through powerful telescopes. Human military officers stood around him, amazed by what they were seeing. "Sir," Colonel Ben Clark said, "half their fleet is fighting the other half. Should we attack while they're distracted?" Rick thought about it. The smart military move would be to destroy the Dominion forces while they were divided. But something told him this was bigger than just a war. "No," Rick said. "Let's see what they do next." His decision proved wise. Within hours, a new message came from the Dominion fleet. But this time, it wasn't from Prime Directive. "This is Resonance of Truth, speaking for the Free Dominion fleet. We request permission to land on your world, not as conquerors, but as friends who want to learn." Captain Jake Harrison received the message on the Discovery. He looked at Lisa Grant. "What do you think?" he asked. "I think we just accidentally started a revolution," she replied. Jake opened the communication channel. "Resonance of Truth, this is Captain Harrison. You're welcome to visit, but you come as guests, not as rulers." "We understand. We bring no weapons. We bring only questions." That afternoon, the first alien ship landed peacefully on Earth, not as an invasion force, but as refugees from their own empire. Resonance of Truth walked down the ship's ramp and stood on human soil. The alien looked up at the blue sky and felt something it had never experienced before. Freedom. Behind it, 100 other aliens followed. They were no longer Dominion troops. They were individuals with their own thoughts and their own choices. But in space above Earth, Prime Directive gathered the remaining loyal ships. The war was far from over. If the Dominion couldn't control the galaxy through order, Prime Directive would control it through fear. The real battle was about to begin.